So I just had the craziest thought, and I'm going to see if she remembers this. But Monique, I just had a raw conversation with Charles Johnson IV, whose wife Kira died at Cedar Sinai here in Los Angeles some years ago. There is a federal investigation now into civil rights violations of black women at Cedars, specifically in childbirth. They let his wife die, and it was a harrowing and raw story that Charles just shared with this audience. I'm looking at a number of messages right now, and one of them says, which is funny, we need some Monique and Daddy after that raw conversation. We need some Monique and Daddy after that raw conversation. I'm laughing, and Miles didn't know this because Miles has never heard this story. My board op who chose that song from Jill Scott. The last time that I saw you and Jill Scott together, I bumped into y'all. I'm going to see if you remember this. I bumped into y'all at Cedars one day. It's when Jill was pregnant, and she was apparently doing her checkup, and you were with her that day. I bumped into you and Jill in the hallway at Cedars. Do you remember that?
Yes.
How crazy is that? How
Yes.
crazy is
Yes.
that, man?
Now, I don't know if you remember this. I got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I bought the babies?
Yes.
And they were arm babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, I said, Tavis, I had Jill Scott on Golden while I was delivering these babies.
Mm.
So to hear that song, and then you say, being in Cedars, it's like, okay, then it all ties together.
No, that's too much. I mean, I'm that's almost scary. That I'm talking to Charles about his wife dying at Cedars. The last time I saw Monique and Jill together, I bumped into them in the hallway at Cedars. I have a great picture of Monique's babies when they were just babies. I'm holding them in my arms. Got a great photo of me holding those babies. And while she's going through her delivery, she's playing Jill Scott. I mean, it's just all too much, Monique. It's too much, girl.
It ties all in together. It always does.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Tavis Smiley.
I was trying to get to that. Hey, Monique, how you doing and how you been and how's Daddy?
Daddy is amazing, and I've been absolutely wonderful. Baby, you know that make me blush now. I can't take it.
Yeah, I know. So let me just say this. Speaking of, since we just name dropping Monique, Jill Scott, let me name drop again. So a few weeks ago on this program, I had Don Lemon, and we were talking about all of the drama in his world, the Elon Musk stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But he was on just as he was dropping his conversation with you. As the audience may recall, so he talked about how thrilled, how honored he was to have a chance to talk to you and Sid about a number of issues, but primarily this issue of pay equity. And he made the point to me, Tavis, when you see the interview, which I've now seen, when you see the conversation with Monique, you're going to hear Monique talk about something that she raised eons ago, many years ago, that people are talking about in real time because Taraji P. Henson raised it when the Color Purple film came out, and that is this issue of pay equity. So let me just start. If you want to see a great conversation with Monique about this issue in greater depth, check out Don Lemon's podcast, conversation with Monique about this issue. It goes on for a while, and you can learn a great deal more. But my question simply is, how did it feel in that moment to see the country talking about this issue of pay equity in the context of which Taraji raised it? And I ain't hating on Taraji, but you had raised this issue eons ago. How did you process that moment?
Well, Tavis, I had a lot of thoughts. Mm-hmm. But I think that one thing about us as a community, we continue to repeat history. Mm-hmm. We continue to do the same thing because people were saying, Monique, how do you feel that Taraji said it and Taraji got attention for it? And I said, well, I'll tell you how I feel about that. When you see a fat Black woman and a Black man standing by her side, and they're standing with their back straight up, they're standing with their chin up, and they're saying this is unacceptable. It's received differently when you see a Black woman that is broken and there's no one by her side. And let me be clear, I love Taraji. That's my girl. Mm-hmm. But the attention came when you saw a Black woman bent over and broken. speaking about it. And now it's, well, now let us pay attention. So oftentimes in our community, it is the messenger. And if the messenger does not look like what we think it's supposed to look like, we won't hear it until someone comes along and we say, okay, now we can accept that package.
It's gonna be rich. It always is when Monique shows up. And I ain't got out the first segment yet. We just getting started, so it's gonna be an amazing hour. And I'm hearing myself laugh. I'm hearing Monique laugh. I hope I hear you laugh as well. We need some of this after that last hour. I look forward to the rest of this dialogue with Monique when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Hey y'all, Mona Swain here from Target's new YouTube series, My Cart is Full, where we feature Black founders and creators highlighting their connection to our community. As an actor and content creator, I love using my voice to inspire young Black women who look like me. When it comes to feeding my shine, seeing myself reflected in Black-owned and founded products at Target brings me joy. Together, we are Black Beyond Measure. Learn more at target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze fruit-on-the-go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Call Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Who do you trust to get at the truth?
Tavis Smiley.
That's who. The conversation continues right now.
You can trust me to get at the truth, but I don't know truth tellers who are more courageous than Monique, and I'm always delighted to be in conversation with her because she's going to give you the truth, no chaser. That's who she is. That's her image. That's her brand, and I love it. I love it. Let me. Speaking of image and brand, let me circle back to the point you made a moment ago about why Taraji talking about pay equity got such pickup, such traction, when it perhaps didn't get the same pickup and traction when you and Sid raised this issue a long time ago. And here's my question, and I want to ask it broadly, give you as much canvas as you need to paint. What have you learned over the years in this business, and for that matter, in life, about image and acceptance? Image and acceptance, Monique.
That's a good one, Tavis. To say what I've learned is you got to be okay with you. You've got to be okay with that person. When you look in that bathroom mirror, you've got to be okay with that person looking back, because if not, there's no solid foundation and you will fall for anything because there's no foundation that's going to hold you up. So for me, with my 33 years in this business, I had to be okay with that little fat black girl in that mirror looking back. And I mean, I think that, I tell people now, it's like, make sure you have your priorities straight. Make sure that it's not entertainment, then family. Entertainment, then this, then that, then family, because you'll lose. And in a lot of the stories that I've written about the sisters that came before me, all of them, Tavis, all of them left this earth broke, brokenhearted, and by themselves. So we're in an industry that if you don't, for me, I'll say this for me again, we're in an industry that if you don't have somebody to go home to, if you don't have something that you're going home to that says this is the priority, baby, Hollywood will take you away. Would they say, Cal, gonna take me away?
Hollywood will take you away.
Baby, take you away. Do you hear me? Yes.
I was thinking last night, I literally, this thought came to me last night, and I've been blessed to be in your friendship circle for many years now. I'm humbled by that every time I think about it. But I was thinking last night that it is amazing that you find laughs in anything, that you find humor in anything. Given your backstory and all that you've endured, all that you've had to go through, the upheaval, the truth telling, the pushback, it's funny to me that you find anything funny, that you find humor in anything these days, Monique.
Tavis, you have to, because I don't know when my turn is coming.
Yeah.
And when my turn come, I don't want to have a nasty ass attitude when I get to the next place. So I'm serious. I tell people, you better live today like it's going to be your last one. That's why I love laughter. I love to laugh because, again, when they call my number, baby, when they call it, they're going to say, wait a minute now, tell her she can't cuss when she get here. Tell her she cannot cuss when she get up here. But me and God got a special situation. We got a special situation. He already know. Like, leave her alone. Her heart is pure. Let her go.
I'm laughing because when you said live every day like it's your last, I remember the first time Quincy Jones, my dear friend Q, said to me many, many years ago, Tavis, live every day like it's your last, cause one day it will be. And so I take that advice. Let's talk. I'm going to talk about a lot of things in this hour, but talk to me about what it means to be on a comedy tour right now. I read somewhere where you have called this the greatest comedy tour of your career thus far. If that statement is true, what makes this the greatest thus far?
Well, let me say this. When you are in the presence of legends and icons, but everybody acts like it's their first time. Everybody has an attitude of gratitude on this tour, and to be able to grace the stage with Mark Curry, Tommy Davidson, Zooman Miller. Now, Zooman Miller, I met Zooman Miller when I first got started, Tavis. When I knew Zooman Miller, I had a baby and I had my first husband, but he didn't have any children, no relationships. So to see these people now, and we've all survived it, and we're all still looking healthy and good. And to walk into arenas with 12,000, 14,000, 16,000, and they're up to the rafters. And they say it starts from the head, right? If the head stinks, the body stinks. But if the head is on good, the body is on good. Cat Williams is one of the Cat Williams is going to go down as one of the greats to ever do it. And I say, for as funny as Cat Williams is, because he's brilliantly funny, Tavis. Do you hear me?
You know I know
That
it.
little 5'5", 10-foot giant is, I mean, he pee-pee funny. He pee-pee funny. However, his heart is far bigger than his funny.
Yeah.
So imagine that you're dealing with one of the greatest ones to ever do it, but the heart of that man, it blows you away. So when I say it's one of the greatest tours, it is. And listen, the craft services. Okay, I've got to talk about it, Tavis. I've got to talk about it.
The craft service.
Listen, when you go back in craft services, her name is Chef K.
Yeah.
Now, normally when you do a tour, you might have some baked chicken, okay, some fried chicken, some string beans, little potato, and some bread, and a little fruit tray. That's what you're gonna get. This tour, you have oxtails, pork chops, lamb chops, baked chicken, fried chicken, jerk chicken. You have steak, you have lamb. Listen, it is a holiday every time we go. Every time we go. So to see that and to walk out on that stage and be received by your people in the way that they are receiving us, it is the best tour I've been on thus far.
Mm. I want to talk about a couple of your interviews since I last saw you. In a moment, of course, I teed up a moment ago your conversation with Don Lemon, but since you went there, let me follow you as I will and always do when you come on this program throughout the hour. When I saw, as we all did, Cat Williams on Club Shay Shay.
Didn't he do it?
Oh my good Lord, did he? Did he?
Look at my little twin brother right there. Look at that, my twin.
When I saw that Negro on Club Shay Shay holding forth, I told everybody one thing, and I've been proven right on this. And I'm not making any assertion or statement, and certainly not casting any aspersion on anybody that Cat went after. That's Cat stand up, not Tavis Smiley. That's his truth, not Tavis Smiley. But follow my point. I told everybody I knew. I said not one of them Negroes is going to come for Cat. Not one of them is going to mess with Cat. Because one, if you're telling the truth, then the truth don't need no defense, and it's hard to push back against anyway. But secondly, Cat ain't just funnier than most. He's smarter than most. People don't know Cat is literally a tested genius. He's Mensa level. Cat is Mensa level genius. And it's hard to come for a Negro who is funnier and smarter than you. So I knew that for all that Cat said, there wasn't going to be a whole lot of fallout, and I've been proven right about this. All those persons he went after, ain't most of them had much to say. They leaving Cat alone. That was my read of that. What was your read of it?
Hey, Tavis. You know why we've been friends for over 25 years? Because we be reading the same thing. We read the same books. We turn the page the same time.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw that, I was so proud, right? Because I had never seen anyone that was not wavering. He wasn't flinching. He was saying, this is just what it is. And when you know somebody that's punching you in the mouth like that with the truth, you're absolutely right. They knew better. They knew better. It's like, listen, I can't go up against that because all he's speaking is the truth. And for some of them that I did see do interviews, I heard something of this. Oh, it was funny to me. Oh, I can't pay no attention to that. Oh, because you know the moment you begin to speak, now you're going to start trapping yourself because in my humble opinion, there was nothing that 5'5", 10 feet giant was saying that was not true.
When I saw that, I said, these Negroes don't want none of that smoke. They don't want none of that smoke. They're going to leave Cat alone. And for the most part, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
They didn't want that smoke, baby.
Yeah, they didn't want that smoke. They left that little Negro alone because you don't want to tussle with Cat. I can tell you that. So after I see Cat on Club Shay Shay, I look up a few weeks later and Monique is on Club Shay Shay. How did that happen for you?
Club Shay Shay called. And they was like, we would love to have a conversation with Monique. And I said, we would love to do it.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened. And, you know, I want to say this for Shannon Sharp, because I hear some people saying he's not a journalist. He never said he was.
Yeah.
He never tried to take claim to that. What that brother has developed, in my humble opinion, is a safe place. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to go back and forth because this is your story to tell. It's your story. So I appreciate what that brother's doing. Is he going to have some kinks and some hiccups? Of course, we all do. But give that brother his fair chance. So I say, Shannon Sharp, you keep going, baby. Keep on doing Club Shay Shay.
Mm-hmm. So I was with Dr. West not long ago, Cornel West, who obviously is on the campaign trail running for president. But he and I were together a few days ago, and your name came up, and he said we should call Sister Monique, Brother Tavis. You know how Doc is, Brother Tavis. We should call Sister Monique. We should call Sister Monique. So I put out my phone and I called Sister Monique, and it went straight to your voicemail. So you were tied up otherwise, and I didn't leave a message. But he and I called you a few days ago just to holler at you, and we ended up missing you. But your name came up in this conversation because Dr. West was saying, as he is fond of saying, and listen to this. This is Cornel West to the core. He was saying that the condition of truth is to allow the suffering to speak. The condition of truth is to allow the suffering to speak. And if nobody tells the truth, if nobody has the courage to tell the truth, then the suffering gets rendered invisible. So the condition of truth is to allow the suffering to speak. And he was saying, to quote Cat Williams and my sister Monique, this is the year of telling the truth. And I teased him. I said, "You the only presidential candidate who's going to be quoting Cat Williams and Monique on the campaign trail." but I put out my phone to call you anyway. But your thoughts about truth and truth telling in this current American moment.
It's necessary because I think that, and when we say America, okay, I think about our community, and I think about the crisis that we're in, and I think about the destruction and the demise of us. And I think that what happens is because we are afraid to tell the truth, because we are afraid to say, this is what this is what happened, this is how I feel, it allows the person, it allows the bully, it allows the predator, it allows them to keep going because they know there's so much fear set into us. No one's going to say anything or no one's going to do anything. That's why when you do have people like Cat Williams and people like Monique, they look at us like we're strange because they're looking at us saying, why are you going against the grain? You know, we just let them kick us in our behind. You know, we just let them exploit us. Why are you doing anything different? So that statement is so true, Tavis, because we've been trained and conditioned to suffer in silence. Mm-hmm. That goes all the way back from slavery. Mm-hmm. We never lost it. We never dropped it off. So, and I'll say this, when you can hear a Black man on audio saying, I mistreated you, you hear it. It's not AI, it's nothing made up. Mm-hmm. However, some in our community still don't want to accept it. It's like you will not take our hero from us. You will not put us in a position where we have to really see the reality of who someone is. And I had an interesting conversation with our sister Sherry Shepherd, a very interesting conversation. And she said to me, she said, Monique, not every Black woman agrees with you. I said, I accept that, but could you please tell me what it is that they don't agree with? And she said, well, it's your personality. And I said, well, what is it about my personality? And then she said, well, you know. And then I said to her, Sherry, this is why we as Black women suffer so bad, because you can't give me answers to what you're saying to me. And then she said, you know, you and your husband, y'all forced Tyler Perry to say that. And I said, Sherry, because you think that way, this is why Black women are not only at the bottom of the totem pole, we're under it. We're under it. So we are so afraid, Tavis, of that thing called truth. We're afraid of our heroes not continuing to be our heroes. We're afraid of the unknown. Because when you really say, I'm going to be free, that's scared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, well, what does it mean? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, what does it mean? Give me that question right quick. What are you going to say?
what does it mean to be free?
Hold that thought. We're going to come to that. We're going to talk about what it means to be free. We're going to talk about the argument that some people try to make, and I've heard this more times than I can count. It ain't your truth, Tavis, it's the tone. Oh, really? It's not the truth, it's the tone. Okay, Negro, I'm not buying that. That's a bunch of nonsense, but okay. We're going to talk about that dichotomy of truth versus tone. And I want to ask Monique just point blank whether she just ever gets tired of climbing up the rough side of the mountain. I mean, it's like every time you see Monique and Daddy, they climbing up the rough side of the mountain. And I say that lovingly. My point is that there are consequences for telling the truth. There's pushback for telling the truth. But do you ever just get tired of cutting against the grain, to use her phraseology? More with Monique when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments about former President Trump's claim that he is immune from prosecution for anything done while in the Oval Office. Trump has argued he must have been impeached by the House and convicted by the Senate. Trump's attorneys will try to convince the court that Trump shouldn't face charges for alleged election interference. A reported associate of Sean Diddy Combs is pleading not guilty to drug possession in a Florida court. Brendan Fall was charged yesterday in Miami, Florida with felony cocaine possession. The former Syracuse basketball player was arrested last month on the same day federal agents raided two of the African-American music mogul's homes. Fall allegedly had cocaine inside a travel bag. A separate lawsuit accuses Fall of working as a drug mule for Combs. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Visit Chevrolet of Montebello for spring savings. Lease a 2024 Chevy Trax for $249 per month or a Chevy Equinox for only $199 per month. Visit ChevroletofMontebello.com for details. Together, let's drive.
At Chevrolet of Montebello. Is this the tether?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Tonight at Crypto.com Arena, we will learn a lot about the Lakers' mental toughness. Can they rise up and beat the Denver Nuggets? The Lakers have lost 10 straight to the defending NBA champions. Anthony Davis needs to get the ball more often in the fourth quarter. In Game 2 on Tuesday, AD took only one shot in the final 19 minutes. That cannot happen tonight. 7 p.m. tip-off for Game 3 on TNT. The NFL Draft kicks off tonight. The Chargers have the number 5 pick. The Rams are at number 19. This is the Rams' first pick in the first round since 2016. Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams is expected to be the number 1 overall pick by the Chicago Bears. Williams is one of 2 black quarterbacks that could be taken among the first 3 picks. The other is former LSU quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California, home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@kbla1580.com. That's advertising at kbla1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you, Black.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Smart talk for curious people just like you. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Monique, who is on tour, comedy tour once again, and she's called this tour the greatest tour of her career thus far, and I think it's because of the craft services. You can't complain about craft services as she described it earlier. That may be why it's so great. I'm just teasing. It's the people she's hanging out with on this tour, and she shouted them all out earlier, and I'm just, again, delighted and humbled as always to be in conversation with Monique. So there are a few things you said moments ago that I want to sort of interrogate. Let me start with this notion of freedom, because you left us with that question. What does it mean to be free? And that's a powerful question. I've made a distinction in any number of speeches that there's a difference between being free and being liberated. They're not exactly the same thing. That's a philosophical conversation for another time. But to your question of what it means to be free, my response to that question, which you did not ask at all rhetorically, is that for me, freedom, by any other definition, means that you have the capacity, the courage, the conviction, the commitment, and the character to always speak your truth. I said it to somebody the other day, Monique, that there are really two kinds of people. Either you running scared or you running free. I'm just putting it out there. Every Negro I know is either you running scared or you running free. And you can't convince me that you're running free if you don't have the courage, the conviction, the commitment, the character, the composition to speak the truth. As the Bible would say, in season, out of season, but to speak the truth. That is what freedom is to me, to always have the capacity, the agency, to use your agency to be truthful, to speak your truth. That's my take on freedom. What's your take on it?
I absolutely agree with that. And I know some billionaire Negroes that are still running scared.
Mm-hmm.
So it has nothing to do with money. It is the mentality. It is the mentality. So I know some really, 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 really rich folks just in money, but they bankrupt in their spirit.
Mm.
They bankrupt in their soul. So for the babies that's listening, just what our brother just said, listen, you got to be able to stand regardless of what you think the consequences might be.
Mm-hmm.
The consequences are going to be what they are. However, you are free when you can look at yourself and say, I have no regrets.
Yeah. That leads me to the other question that I said I wanted to pose to you directly, which I will do now, which is whether or not you and Daddy ever get tired of cutting against the grain. You ever get tired of always climbing up the rough side of the mountain?
So I'm going to answer that in two parts, okay?
Okay.
I remember some years ago, my husband said to me, he said, Mama, would you rather go up the rough side of the mountain or the smooth side of the mountain? So my answer was, I'd rather go up the smooth side of the mountain. He said, well, if in the event you have to start falling down, you slide straight back down to the bottom. But when you're rough side, in the event you may slide down, you got something to grab back on too. So for us, you know how you feel like you were made for this? We were made for it. Like when I read the stories of the sisters that came before me, some of the things that they say or experience, I'm like, I've walked that walk. I've been on that journey, but not afraid to go into the door that's closed.
Yeah.
That's
we talked also, and I want to, extend this conversation about truth versus tone. I have heard this line more times than I can count. If I had a dime for every time somebody tried to tell me it was my tone, I'd be independently wealthy. And my retort has been, I mean, for all the years I was on BT and Tom Joyner, even through the Obama era and since then, I tell folk my tone ain't changed in 30 years of my career. Like me or loathe me, love me or hate me, my tone has always been the same. I don't have but one tone. This is it. I'm going to tell you the truth as I know it, and I'm the first to admit that I don't have a monopoly on the truth. I recognize that there is the truth and there's the way to the truth. And some folk are just on their way to the truth that you and I may already know. And we got to be humble enough to understand that, to accept that, and not judge people in that regard. They just ain't got to the point of understanding the truth that we understand. But that does not absolve us of our responsibility with humility, with love, to share the truth that we do know. But I can't stand that argument. When people try to tell me, it's your tone. I don't like that, Monique. That's just me.
That's slave talk. That's slave talk. That is our brothers and sisters that still have those chains on them, that we just can't see them, but they are still mentally in chains. I've had people say that to me. Well, it's just the way you want about it. Well, how do you say somebody's raping me? How do you say somebody's exploiting? What do you say? Excuse me. Excuse me. Can I just tell y'all something for a second? No, I'm like, we've been so used to bowing our heads and putting our eyes down that when I've had Black women say to me, well, it's just the way you want about it. Well, tell me how you would have went about it. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, no. What would you have done? So when people say it's our tone, that's when I say, please get away from me, slave, because you're slave talking to me right now.
Please get away from me, slave. That's funny. I may have to borrow that line, Monique. Could you please get away from me, slave? Just back up off me, slave.
Harriet Tubman would slap them in the mouth. And you know what they say? Harriet Tubman never lost one.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she had to take a few of them out.
Well, you know the story. This is true now. When Harriet Tubman freed those enslaved Africans, those enslaved Black people, she had two items with her. She had her Bible and she had a gun. And she had to use both. Sometimes she opened the Bible and she just read a scripture. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Sometimes you just need a scripture. That faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Sometimes you just need a scripture. And then there are some Negroes who need to be introduced to Smith and Wesson, right? So she used both of them, Monique, the Bible and the gun. So I guess if it worked for Harriet Tubman, I guess it works for us too, or can work for us.
If I were Harriet Tubman, and a part of me believed that I was, Tavis, okay? I believe that I was Harriet Tubman at one time in one of my lives, okay? And here's where I knew that I had her DNA in me. Remember the movie Harriet that came out?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. This is when I said, listen, y'all, we've got to tell the truth when we're going to tell our stories. At the very end, when you see Harriet Tubman with that white man, don't kill him. I said, y'all, that's not the truth. That black woman would have blew his head off because she knew you're going to go back and terrorize my family. So I was like, no, that we got to rewrite that. I want to play Harriet Tubman. I'm putting it out there right now.
But that's this is your field. You've been in it 33 years, which I want to talk about when we come forward. But this is your field, and that's what they call creative license. And that annoys ain't a strong enough word. It angers me sometimes when you see stuff like that, and you know how that got approved. You know why it got approved, because that is the way that Hollywood wants to tell that story.
Right. It's like, listen, if we cannot tell the truth to it, y'all, we are when we allow that to happen, we are changing the face of our story. We're changing our story to appease people that say, oh, that might be offensive. You damn right it's going to be offensive because it's the truth. It's meant to offend. It is meant to show people to say, look what we had to deal with. And it is meant to show us, look at our strength and how we came through. And I don't think that's what some people want us to figure out or know.
No, two of my least favorite Hollywood words, creative license. More with Monique when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, this is Quentin.
And this is Brianna.
A little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips are how satisfying they are. The chicken strips are amazing. They're always filling, tender, and juicy. Definitely one of my favorite things on the menu.
My favorite thing is the last bite. The last bite is nice and juicy, and it's wrapped up in some crispy breading that keeps it nice and tasty. And being able to scoop up my Chick-fil-A sauce with it, it's just like the best part of the meal. It's an undefeated combo.
Order the chicken strips on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
Let's get back to more of Tavis Smiley right now.
Monique, I was just going over some notes last night, prepping for our conversation, and I about fell out of my chair when I realized that your Academy Award for Precious, your amazing performance, that was 2009.
Yes.
That's like, I'm like, man, it Time flies. That's all I'm trying to say, I guess. Time flies, man. 2000. Does it seem like that long to you?
No, it doesn't. It's
Yeah.
like, for real?
Yeah.
It's been that long.
I know, 2009. That cracked me up. You've been at this, as you mentioned earlier, for 33 years. 33 years in this business, and I guess my question is whether or not, with all that you have now in the rearview mirror, and I want to close our conversation in a few minutes back to this comedy tour, but on balance, has it been 33 good years? I mean, Jesus, of course, they crucified Jesus at 33. We ain't gonna let them do that to you 33 years in. But you've been at it 33 years. Has it been worth it for 3+ decades?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've had people ask me that based on what I've gone through in the last decade, right?
Right.
However, I enjoy the business of entertainment. I've enjoyed people say, what's your most favorite thing? All of it's been my favorite. Every TV show, or every movie, all of it has been my favorite. The only part I do not like is bad business in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't like. That's the part that's unacceptable. That is the part, because people will say, where you been? And I'll say, guys, it's not like I couldn't have been on TV or in the movies. I just can't accept what they're offering.
Yeah. Speaking of bad business, I'm sorry. Speaking of bad business, is there any movement at all on your case regarding the Parkers and the way they have not paid you what you deserve and have earned over the years?
I appreciate that. It's doing what it needs to do. That's what I can say.
Okay, fair enough.
It's doing. I'll say this: we're not backing down. We're not backing up. Countess Vaughn and I deserve what we signed up for. We're just saying, give us what we signed up for. We're not asking for anything more.
Yeah.
But give us our part of the ownership that we own in the Parkers. That's all we're saying.
Well, when you said we ain't backing up, we ain't backing down, I was thinking you could say less. I know that part. I know, say less. I got that figured out already. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Monique, we'll circle back to this comedy tour that she is starring in and starring on right about now. And I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm telling you who it was. It may come to me in a second here. But they were saying they believe that now is a dark time for comedy. It's a dark time for comedy. I want to get Monique's take on that in our remaining moments when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At Skechers, we put the S in comfort. Now, I know you're probably spelling comfort in your head and asking yourself, is that possible? Am I just a really bad speller? Look, I don't know your spelling aptitude, but Skechers most definitely put the S in comfort because Skechers is the comfort technology company and has developed fits and features that change everything you know about comfort, like hands-free Skechers slip-ins, the ultimate in comfort and convenience. It's footwear you just step into and they're on, with no bending down. Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
More of Monique coming your way right about now, at least for the next 4 minutes before we wrap this conversation and today's show at the top of the hour in 4 minutes. So Monique, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I guess I'm having too many conversations. I can't recall who it was, but they were suggesting to me that they think that now is a pretty dark time for comedy. What's your view on the world of comedy in this present moment?
Well, I can only speak for me. There's never a dark time for laughter. Never a dark time for it. It depends on who you are as the comedian. It depends on who you are as the entertainer. But when you come to the Dark Matter tour and you see that from the moment the show starts to the moment the show closes, those people are on their feet. They're laughing, they're hollering, they're screaming, they're having a great time. So I don't think there's ever a dark time in comedy. I think there may be some dark comedians. But I don't think that there's a dark time in comedy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not for the real comedians, not for the real ones, baby.
Yeah. And how would you define the real ones?
Tavis, don't do that. Okay.
I wasn't asking for names. I'm asking for. I'm looking for any kind of other trait you want to give me. But it's your question to answer, Monique.
I define the real ones are the ones that don't get caught up in this is a dark time for comedy.
That's fair.
Real comedian, baby. A real comedian can go on stage and talk about a damn hot dog. Okay, a hot. You remember hot hots? Where you would boil them and they bust open. It was the cheapest hot dog you could get. But so I think that laughter is truly still the world's greatest medicine. It is still truly, you can be watching something by your damn self and have an attitude and see something funny and bust out laughing. So no, I don't think it's a dark time.
I assume I'm closing in the last 2 minutes here. I'm closing where we began. I assume that you still find joy in getting on the stage. And I raised that because I was talking to, again, somebody else the other day. And we were making note of all the comedians and entertainers and others who everybody's trying to get a Las Vegas residency, in part because they're tired of all the touring, all the traveling, all the back and forth. Everybody wants a residency. But I assume all the drama notwithstanding, you must still find joy when you get on the stage, whatever city you're in.
I'm still grateful for the gift.
Yeah.
I like all of it, Tavis. I like the hair. I like the makeup. I like getting dressed. I like all of it because that's what I asked for. I prayed for that, baby.
Yeah.
So I never want to be the person that prayed for something and you get it and then you got an attitude with it. So I'm still that old-fashioned girl. I'm still that old-fashioned, let's go get it. Let's go have a great time. Now, am I getting older? I am. So I have to take that in consideration too. Do I want to be traveling when I'm 75? Hell no. But right now at 56 and I'm in the best of my life, let's go get it.
So, but at 75, you have your Las Vegas residency though, at 75.
Well, I've had my Las Vegas residency at 50.
At 50, so exactly. Yeah, I forgot about that. You did that already. Been there, done that.
Now, okay.
such is the life of Monique. I had to check myself where I wrecked myself. She's already had a Las Vegas residency. She's been busy, and she's still busy, and will be for as long as she chooses to be on her terms. And that's what I love about Monique. I say it all the time, Monique. I love you, and you know the rest of it. You can't do nothing about it. I just love you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for the hour.
And please tell Dr. West I said, let's go get him. Baby, he'll be the best president that this country can have.
I will tell him. I will tell him. He may have just heard it himself. Monique, thank you. I love you. All my best to Sid, or Daddy, as you call him. Tell him I said what's up. All right, take care. What an amazing show. I thank all of my guests today. Just a powerful, inspiring, and even funny at parts. So thank you to all my guests, and thank you for tuning in today. Tomorrow's Friday, so tomorrow's the best of Tavis Smiley. I got a tough decision to make. So many great conversations this week. Wendell Pierce, Monique, Charles Johnson IV, the others. It's going to be tough picking out 3 of the best hours of this week. But it's going to be a great show tomorrow in case you missed any of those conversations this week. Until then, thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments about former President Trump's claim that he is immune from prosecution for anything done while in the Oval Office. Trump has argued he must have been impeached by the House and convicted by the Senate. Trump's attorneys will try to convince the court that Trump shouldn't face charges for alleged election interference. A reported associate of Sean Diddy Combs is pleading not guilty to drug possession in a Florida court. Brendan Fall was charged yesterday in Miami, Florida with felony cocaine possession. The former Syracuse basketball player was arrested last month on the same day federal agents raided 2 of the African-American music mogul's homes. Fall allegedly had cocaine inside a travel bag. A separate lawsuit accuses Fall of working as a drug mule for Combs. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Visit Chevrolet of Montebello for spring savings. Lease a 2024 Chevy Trax for $249 per month or a Chevy Equinox for only $199 per month. Visit ChevroletofMontebello.com for details. Together, let's drive.
At Chevrolet of Montebello.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
As you track the NFL draft over the next 2 days, here's a few things to keep on your radar. Last year, only 1 player from an HBCU school was selected by an NFL team. The New England Patriots chose Jackson State cornerback Isaiah Bolden in the 7th round, the final round of the draft. NFL teams will be on notice to see if their scouting departments did a better job this year of evaluating HBCU talent. NFL teams also have not drafted a quarterback from an HBCU school in 18 years. The Minnesota Vikings selected Alabama State quarterback Tavares Jackson in the 2nd round of the 2006 draft. Most of the 32 NFL teams have scouted North Carolina Central quarterback Davius Richard, the MVP of this year's Legacy Bowl, an all-star game for HBCU players. Draft analysts think Richard could be the first HBCU quarterback to hear his name called since Jackson. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the 2nd consecutive year, KBLA